Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show for our Music and Art for Social Change here with Peaceboat. This is the last event in a series of our global crowdfunding campaign during the month of August, where we have been doing events twice a week to raise awareness and to educate everyone about the amazing work that Peace Boat is doing around the world and all of the partners that we are supporting during this really important time. And we're so thankful to everyone who's been joining us for all of the events so far. And tonight we have a very special lineup with DJ Spooky, Paul Miller, who's a composer, writer, and artist. We have a video message and discussion with Pierre Bucci from Chile, South America. We have Satoshi Fujita from Japan, now living in Brooklyn as a visual artist and painter. And soon after this, we'll be featuring Michael Tello on a live stream with our partners at change.We. So today we're really talking about how music and art can be a tool for social change, and just really excited to share all of these creative discussions with everyone listening tonight. My name is Emily McClone, and I work as the director of Peace Boat US in New York City, and I'll be your host for this evening. So today we're just going to get started a little bit discussing how Peace Boat has been working on this global crowdfunding campaign. We have been working to raise funds during the last month and before, and we will continue to raise funds in the coming months as well for our crowdfunding campaign to support all these educational initiatives, as I mentioned, because during this global pandemic, as many international organizations have been affected, so has Peace Boat. And we visit more than 100 ports of call every year, working to raise awareness and to support local communities during our global voyages. And during this time, we found it very difficult to keep up all of our activities without the ship sailing. So we're finding creative ways to bring in funds and to raise awareness, even online, to connect our global community of supporters, friends, Peace Boat volunteers, and guest speakers. You can donate online through our GoFundMe campaign and also through Facebook. You can see our events so far have been helping to raise awareness and funds. We've raised more than $15,000 or $16,000 just in the past month, and we are going to continue working towards our goal. In Japan, we had a major crowdfunding campaign and donations online. So you can see, if you look at our GoFundMe site, we are working towards a larger goal for the upcoming months, and we welcome any donations for those who are watching today. So if we can go to this first slide, we're going to get started with today's talk about creative uses of the Peace Boat ship and also all of our partners that we bring online. Here we have the Peace Boat in New York City, where it docked last June for the United Nations World Oceans Day with our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassadors who came on board for the SDGs education and talking about SDG 14 for life below water and SDG 13 for climate action. And during their time on board, we decided to invite them also to participate in creative means by doing dances on board and participating in all of our activities during the time the Peace Boat was docked in New York. So you can see here our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassadors performing a traditional dance on board, storytelling through dance and music to talk about ocean conservation. And if you look at some of the photos of the activities on board, we also had many youth from New York City. These are the Global Kids, which is a nonprofit organization that works with us to raise awareness and provide leadership training for young people, especially from minority communities and some areas of the city that normally don't have as much opportunity. And these global kids really do become the leaders of the future. And here they're performing a dance for environmental awareness and climate action. And next slide, please. And we also have a dance group on board the ship where they are performing in many different ports of call and practicing the dances on board, raising awareness again through amazing dance performances, all towards peace education and cultural understanding. And we also have DJs on board. So tonight is a special night because we have a live stream coming up after this event with our partners on the change.We website. Here we have Alexi playing live violin with Rick Rosa from New York City, who's going to be featured in the live stream this evening. And at the next photo, you'll see a beautiful sunset on board the Peace Boat, where we had also Michael Tello from PillowTalk playing live. And each year, we try to invite many different artists to perform on the Peace Boat. We know that music is a really great way to bring people together. Michael Tello is part of our Music and Art Peace Academy, bringing in young people and helping to educate them through the arts. So I think everyone definitely enjoyed this night on board, and we hope that you'll be able to tune in from 9 p.m. right after this event to the change.We website. You can see it in our bio, and you can listen to the live stream there. All right, and this will bring us to our next guest who was on board. This is DJ Spooky, who performed on the ship. He's been a long-time partner of Peace Boat, working with us in so many different ways. You'll see him performing here as a DJ together with a live violinist. And in the next photo, you'll also see him emceeing on the boat. So we've invited Paul as a guest speaker to give conferences and workshops about how to use art and music as a social tool for positive change in the world. And I would like with that to bring DJ Spooky into the show with us tonight and to introduce him as our first speaker. Hi, Paul.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? I'm in Aspen, Colorado. I think you're still in New York, right? So
I am in New York.
Hey, everybody.
It's beautiful where you are.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, even though we're not in the same city right now, it's great to be connected and to share a little bit about your work and your experience on the Peace Boat with everyone.
Thanks. I mean, to me, what's incredibly important right now is that here we are in a pandemic, and we're not just in a biological situation, but we're also in an information pandemic where so many people have had a crisis of authenticity, a crisis of the sense of governance. And to me, places like Peace Boat, even though we can't physically go on it right now, the idea of a place where people can exchange ideas and support more of an active engagement with the idea of peace, that's an incredibly powerful thing, and I love supporting it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been really amazing to work with you throughout the years on so many different projects. So let's have a few photos come up that we can talk about from your time with Peace Boat. We first met at a climate change conference, a social good summit. You were talking about your work in Antarctica, and I was super impressed to see how you had made the Book of Ice and talked about climate change. And then when you came on the Peace Boat, we started talking about a couple of other important issues like nuclear disarmament and sustainability. So I'd love to show a few photos from your trip and also to see just a little bit about your experience. But also, as an introduction, do you want to just tell everyone a little bit how you see your role as an artist in working towards social change?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I mean, Emily, it's always been a pleasure working with you. You're a force of nature. I mean, I'm really impressed with how much energy you apply to these, I think, incredibly important causes and issues. So let's just rewind. To me, one of my biggest heroes is Yoko Ono. I've produced and worked with her on several occasions. And her former husband, John Lennon, had a whole series of sort of peace initiatives in the 1960s. My father was a lawyer and dean of Howard University's law school. So I grew up around a household that was very involved with human rights and progressive legal issues. And my mother was a historian of design. So we were always thinking about many the way that, design and thinking, all of those notions that go into creative, kind of engagement with the world around you, they need time to grow and to evolve. So, for example, my mother passed away recently, and I took her on the Peace Boat as one of the last group activities of my family, and it was really powerful because, my mom was really touched by the whole thing, and she made many friends with the Japanese women on board, talking about the history of women and design. And, from my own experiences, DJing and music, there's a generosity of spirit that seems to go with the whole sort of human element of it all. So these are things that really have left a very warm space in my heart for Peace Boat. And I hope everybody out there who's listening, you can check it out and support. So just, these are crazy times right now. And I think it's very unique and very important ideas like peace. Whether, this summer has been a really wild summer of everything from Black Lives Matter, went over to the political tensions of the upcoming election, which to me personally is probably the most important election in human history coming up. These are things where, peace is one of the most powerful things we have to sort of argue against this sort of darkness of our time.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I feel like, Peace Boat has always been working so hard and, creating social justice movements and working towards peace and sustainability. And right now it's more important than ever. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'd love to talk about your experience on the Peace Boat. We invited you on board because you have done so much in your work as an artist and as a composer. And then if we can go to the first photo, I think of the Peace Boat ship. When you came on board, we knew that you had already been working in Vanuatu. You were working in the Pacific, so I believe that we invited you to come on board from Peru to Easter Island, went to Rapa Nui, and then Tahiti, specifically because we were really excited to have you in the Pacific. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, I mean, people. The interesting about Peace Boat and its engagement with the legacy of World War II, and the controversies around everything from the war between the Japanese and the Koreans, the Japanese and the Chinese, the American occupation of Japan, and then the subsequent nuclear bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of the war. Um, all of those things linger over the South Pacific in an incredibly powerful sort of ambience. People tend to forget that there was a tremendous amount of nuclear testing in the South Pacific. So I was very intrigued that we could go to Rapa Nui, which is, aka Easter Island, which is where civilization collapsed. And there's many very famous writers, like, for example, Jared Diamond, whose book Guns, Germs, and Steel, or he has another book called Collapse. And it's about when civilizations overextend themselves and then collapse. Easter Island is a perfect example of that. So that's a metaphorical situation that's etched in stone, literally, all puns, and you can see these stones here, of people building their ancestors to the point of extinction. And what's powerful about Peace Boat is that it's a place where you can actually have these incredible discussions, and all sorts of writers and creatives and theoreticians, policymakers, scientists come on board and then exchange ideas. And so, that sounds like the best dinner party I would go to in New York. So I was all in, and we ended up going to several places that I think are at the cusp of some of the most powerful issues of our time, which is um, the Anthropocene era, which is looking at climate change, and above all, the kind of the way humans with nuclear energy intervene in the natural processes of the planet. One could argue the Anthropocene started with the dropping of the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because it was a powerful situation around human agency and choice. So several of the last survivors of that tragedy in Hiroshima and Nagasaki came on board, and I made a series of interviews with them, which I then turned into music, which is dedicated to the Peace Boat and its mission of encouraging critical thinking and inquiry. So this photo, Emily, you want to talk about this for a second?
Yeah, I think, your last experience on the Peace Boat, after you left Rapa Nui, you went towards Tahiti. And many times we work with those who have suffered from the nuclear testing in Tahiti and are working towards a nuclear-free world. And that really fit in well with the Hibaksha, who are also on board sharing their testimonies. What was this experience like for you to arrive after having traveled with the Hibaksha and then to come to Tahiti and hear these testimonies as well of nuclear testing?
Yeah, I mean, the Hibaksha, it's what's incredible about them is that they are everyday people who are on their way to school, to work, you name it. And the Americans wait until 8 a.m. right in the middle of rush hour, so to drop the first nuclear bomb. And over 100,000 people were instantly vaporized and destroyed in this one instant. And so after World War II, there was over 105 atmospheric and underwater nuclear tests in the Pacific, many of which then left a toxic legacy on the islands. And I'm also a scuba diver. So I've also been in all sorts of interesting shipwrecks, and I've seen airplanes that were shot down. I've swum next to a destroyed troop carrier in Vanuatu. So the legacy of war and the legacy of this sort of, again, the nuclear aspects of testing, one of the most active things that humans are going to leave on planet Earth are plastic and the ocean debris, and then of course the radiation and trace elements of radiation. So in Tahiti, they were very concerned about the ocean currents that were carrying radioactive material to the island, and it was powerful to see a local group become a stakeholder in that. And to me, it's really important to show that people of color are stakeholders in the narrative. It's not just Europeans, it's not just Americans, and people really can make sure to have their voice heard in a multicultural and progressive critique. I mean, these nuclear bombs and tests will leave a legacy that will far outlast any nation state that's currently in existence. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years out, what's going to be left? So, except maybe plastic swirling in the ocean.
Yeah.
So these are things that go through my mind. Yeah.
No, it's so true. And
so
mhm.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I totally agree. And, because you've been working on all these issues, as you mentioned, you are a scuba diver. You work on the plastics issue. You also introduced me to Parley for the Oceans because of their amazing technology and design. And, you've worked in so many fields as an artist, as an activist. So you're also a National Geographic Explorer in residence. And I was thinking it might be really cool to show one of your videos from National Geographic to show a little bit how you've been using art and technology to raise awareness for all these issues that you care about.
Absolutely. And there's a little peace boat in there as well. So thank you. And here we go.
Yeah, let's watch this video on National Geographic. This is a great introduction to DJ Spooky. Sorry, we're just pulling up the video one more time with the sound on. Here we go.
We live in a data-driven society. I wanted to make music. I like to think of music not just as music, but as information. It can tell the world anything. We live in a data-driven society. I wanted to make music that reflects that. Music has a very beautiful relationship to all of the things that shape modern ideas about time, space, geography. As a DJ, my tools are information. Could you actually take a conversation with a scientist and turn it into a string quartet? Could you take topography of shattered glaciers and turn that into a composition? Climate change is a very profound thing facing us, and I think the arts have a very important role to play in that. You can make it beautiful, you can make it interesting, you can make it immersive. The artist's role is not to say, hey, this is interesting, but to grab people by the scruff of the neck and say, you can't live life without thinking a different way about this. Another world is possible. Digital media has become the basic vocabulary of how people experience everything. Art and music and science and technology to me are not separate things. We're all nature.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for playing that. I hope everyone out there got a sense that for me, it's all about being interdisciplinary and moving between media. And Emily, again, what you're doing with the Peace Boat as a peace activist and someone who's pulling together all these tremendous speakers and people exchanging ideas, that's the new social space. So even though we can't physically be on the ship, the power of a good idea is what motivates our time. And I think that video this year I was supposed to go back to Antarctica, for example. Right now I'm supposed to be in Norway. I was supposed to be in Hiroshima about 2 weeks ago for the memorial of the two bombings. So I'm currently here in the mountains of Aspen. I'm speaking to you from a garden here. I don't know if you guys see all this. And it's a peaceful place. So this is a crazy summer. I mean, we have the Black Lives Matter situation, police violence, government depression, wars, that are not really full-scale wars. They're like brush fire wars. The tragedy going on in sub-Saharan Africa or the refugee crisis in Libya, the shopping list of tragedies goes on and on and on. But that's where I think coming together and supporting places, it just give you a little bubble of peace, literally, like the Peace Boat, and allowing people some breathing space. That's why I think it's important to participate in this. So thanks. Mm-hmm.
No, we're so happy to have you on board and join us. And when we invited you to come on board, it was because we had the 8 survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki on board, and also because we were sailing through the Pacific, where we knew you had experience in the island nations. So tell me a little bit also, because of all your amazing experiences and expertise in technology, music, and design, I think, we knew that you being on board would create something that would be new to the world. And one way that we could share all of our work for peace education through, something that you would create. And that's exactly what you did. You created the Peace Symphony after hearing the testimonies of the survivors. So tell us a little bit about that experience, how you came up with the symphony idea after, hearing all these testimonies around working towards a nuclear-free world.
Sure. Again, like I was saying earlier, Emily, it's been the legacy of nuclear testing in the South Pacific is extensive. Everything from the Marshall Islands to Bikini. All those islands are delicate, connected, very fragile ecosystems that are now actually going to be suffering as waters rise because of the melting of Antarctica, Greenland, and the North Pole. So those places are like the canary in the coal mine. They're some of the most beautiful and exquisite places on Earth, and they're going to be suffering climate change. And it's kind of heartbreaking because the people who produce the least amount of carbon are going to be hammered the most. Meanwhile, the wealthier industrialized nations are just burning more and more fossil fuels. And so when I was working on the Peace Symphony, the idea of hearing the everyday story of the Hibakusha and then transcribing that into music and then making kind of a multimedia experience around it was, that was the power of creative moment and these conversations that went through my mind. Everything is about narrative, and I think we're in a time of weaponized information. And you got to remember, most of these platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc., they're algorithms that encourage extreme, expression. And the more you're yelling, so to speak, the more followers and clicks and likes you get. So the Peace Symphony is kind of one of these moments where I wanted to give these people who have suffered through the first Anthropocene cry, the birth cry of the nuclear age, kind of a composition that is a reverie on what happened to them. So you got to remember, I do hip hop, I do techno, I do dubstep. I've worked with all sorts of artists, like everything from Killer Priest from Wu-Tang Clan, RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, on over to Yoko Ono or Ryuichi Sakamoto or DJ Crush. These are all, some are Japanese and some are not, but the common denominator is that the people I work with are both political activists, but they're humanist. And I think we can all build bridges between cultures. And that's, again, why peace is such an incredible, there's nothing stronger than an idea whose time has come. That's one of those moments where we just need to, there were riots last night in America because another African-American had been murdered by the police. And, just, we really need to rethink the urban context and the ocean. So this is like 1 foot in the ocean, 1 foot in the city.
Absolutely. And let's show a little bit about your Peace Symphony. It was such an amazingly beautiful creation that came from the testimonies of the Hibakusha. So let's show a little excerpt here from this video.
Okay.
Wow, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Paul. And thank you for joining us today on the show. We're really excited to share your artwork with everyone and, of course, your music as well.
Thanks. And some of the prints you guys saw, those are limited edition prints at Misaki, and they're going to be part of a series of exhibitions that will accompany the touring process once this COVID stuff passes. So I just want to say, Emily, thank you for your work, and everybody on the Peace Boat crew. And keep doing what you do. I mean, the funny thing is sometimes it's good to stop talking about history so we make the future. And I think the Peace Boat gives people that notion of not just like celebrating the past, but also giving the future breathing room to kind of evolve out of awareness and giving people a better sense of possibility. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll definitely bring you back on at the end of the show. You can give some closing words for us. We'll try and get all the artists in here tonight. I'm just so happy to have you with us. So thank you. All right, everyone. We're going to move on now to our next artist, who is a visual artist from Japan named Satoshi Fujita, or Dragon76, who's been on board with Peace Boat so many times. Welcome, Dragon, to the show tonight.
Hi. Hi, Emily.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm Dragon76. I'm living in New York. I moved from Japan 3 years ago, and I based in New York.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here in New York City with us.
Yeah, I like New York.
Yeah, everybody's been so impressed with your artwork, not only on the Peace Boat, but all around the city. You do some amazing large-scale paintings. So we want to show a little bit of your artwork tonight. This one is one of your paintings from Cuba, is that right?
Yeah, this is Cuba, the first time.
Amazing. It's such a huge, large-scale painting. I remember everybody who visited Cuba on the Peace Boat always remembered this painting. I think we even made some T-shirts, and it became quite a symbol of our experience in Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. We're going to show quite a lot of your artwork. This was a very large-scale painting, but also on a building that had a doorway underneath.
Yeah, this is very excited. So I wanted to go to Cuba. Dreams come true.
Yeah, I think Cuba is a lot of people's dream, and you definitely left your mark in Cuba for sure. And not only that, but many of the participants on Peace Boat, the passengers who are traveling with you, helping you to paint and creating this amazing social theme of peace, paz, for Cuba and the world.
Yeah.
And Dragon, you have so many different paintings that you've done throughout your time. I think we have a little introduction video that's going to show how you do your live painting, which you're also going to do later tonight, and also some of your mural painting. So we'd like to bring up this short video clip. This was done by our partners at ETS, Energy Thought Summit, to show some of your work.
Seeing the headlines line with discord is either genocide or the planet in uproar. Never good. The rules in paradise are never nice. The best laid plans of mice and men are never right. I'm just a vagabond with flowers for Algernon, an average Joe who knows what the fuck is going on. It's the hope of my thoughts that I travel upon, fly like an arrow of God until I'm gone. So drifting away like a feather in air, letting my words take me away from the hurt and despair. So I'm keeping it vertical, forever elevator, riding the escalator to the something that is greater. So I'm drifting away like a feather in air, letting my soul take me away from the hurt and despair. So I'm keeping it vertical, forever elevator, riding the escalator to the something that is greater. Taking chances, word tap dancing with walls in an ice arena out there deep in the woods of Arizona. The sun be out, life's ironic, ain't it? Trying to be Dali when I write surreal life, I painted vivid. Habitat crazy, insane. Watching propaganda, 6 o'clock news and insane. Cultures clash, all black folk and white trash. They rebel in the cyberspace and might crash. Dash to millennium, a million miles of running. At the speed of now, bound, no return gunning. Rambo style gun, hold child gunning. Ambo plow 2 times loud, stunning.
Amazing. You do such great work, Dragon. It's always so inspiring to watch you paint and also to see how you come up with these creative ideas and artwork, you know, spur of the moment, and always around your theme is coexist, right?
Yeah.
Coexist, revolution.
Coexist is my main theme. So for my art.
Yeah, really fantastic. And that one we used during the Energy Thought Summit, which took place in Austin and Texas. But we've done so many other paintings. Let's go back to some of your images of the artwork that you've done. So we started with Cuba, which is here, doing Che Guevara and painting on this huge wall. And we have a couple other photos also from painting on board the Peace Boat and different murals around the world.
Yeah. This was second time to Cuba, and this door was at the door in from my mural, and I added the new artwork in outside the past mural.
That's great that you got to go to Cuba the second time. That's so amazing, and to repaint and to go back and do a new design.
Yeah.
And this is on the Peace Boat, right?
Yeah. So I brag with Donisha. She's granddaughter of Bob Marley. So
Yeah, Donisha Pendergrass is one of our favorite guest speakers. She's such a creative activist and artist, and she does all kinds of storytelling and spoken words. So she's really great to have on board.
Yeah, she's so amazing.
And I think you also painted with her. Is that right?
Yeah, we had the music live with. This is Donisha and she's grandmother Rita Marley.
Beautiful. And I think you also traveled to Jamaica with Donisha. Is that right? Also, you guys went to the Caribbean.
Yeah, it was so great situation for surrounded the sea.
Yeah, I think painting on the back deck is the most wonderful spot. And I could see also so many people watching you paint. It really was a big event on board.
Yeah, every time.
No, it's great. Fantastic. And this is also one of your coexist paintings, right? This is more like a traditional Indian style, and then the coexist and freedom message.
Yeah, and many cultures mix in my piece.
Yeah, really beautiful. And this was again on the United Nations World Oceans Day. So this is where we just saw DJ Spooky and Michael Tello and also Rick Rosa. All of the artists that are collaborating tonight were here on this night in New York. And tell us about this painting that you did for the UN World Oceans Day.
Yeah, that's so a good experience.
That's right. We did it with the Pangea Seed Foundation. I think in the next few photos, we'll see a couple of images. Pangea Seed Foundation has been working with us for so many years to collaborate and to bring on artists from around the world onto the Peace Boat. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay, great. And this is the Pangea Seed Foundation together with Dragon. Okay, and next, please. And this is his finished painting that Dragon did, and we actually auctioned this off as an artwork piece. And if you want to buy Dragon's painting tonight, we're going to be auctioning off his live painting, which he'll be doing right after this, to sell some prints as a way to provide donations to the Peace Boat crowdfunding campaign. So if you'd like to donate now while you're listening, please do. For any donation larger than $50, we'll be sending you some prints of Dragon's painting that he's going to be doing this evening. All right, next, please. And this was the end of World Oceans Day. We had more than 1,000 people on board the ship from New York City watching Dragon painting, watching DJ Spooky performing live. And that brings us to the end of the World Oceans Day presentation and Dragon's painting. He's just heading off to start painting live tonight while we're here in the studio, and we'll be bringing him back at the end of the show for some closing words. Okay, let's move on to this next artist and photographer that we have named Pierre Bucci. Pierre is from Chile, South America, and he is one of our major speakers and performers on board and also in the ports of call. I met Pierre in Chile and also in Japan, where he was frequently traveling and performing. And Pierre is currently in Costa Rica, so we're going to take a little time travel and go to a video that we recorded this morning with him while he was in his truck that he's traveling around the world in. And he's right now living in a beautiful house of solar energy in a sustainable fashion. And so please enjoy this short video and interview with Pierre Bucci. Great environmentalist and a leader for sustainability, doing reforestation of the Amazon, of the rainforest in South America and Peru. And I'm just really excited to have you here with us today to hear a little bit about your experience on the Peace Boat and also about, some of the things that you're doing now.
Always I took care of, or I was observing the nature. That's why it gave me this inspiration to just take care of nature in a way I take care of myself, right? And when you start to tell me about Peace Boat, and finally we joined together and we did projects, was amazing because I found a family who is in the same mood, a family who is taking care of the environment, is having some consciousness, and having a view of create a unity of people who join this environment and with all this together.
Absolutely.
That was my experience as a first approach we can tell with Peace Boat, and creativity. We create projects with it.
Absolutely. No, we've done so many projects, and I'm going to share with everyone a little bit. I'm excited to have some of the slides that we are going to share here. We can go into full screen. Pierre, let's talk about our first experience together on the Peace Boat. Here's an image that we were in Patagonia when this was actually your first time, even though you're from Chile, this was your first time to go to Chile. Is that right? To Patagonia and Chilean side.
Yeah, that's completely right. Well, this comes from a conversation we have together, to join music, art, creation, and doing something for the environment. That's why it's a beautiful trip we did. You took me from Germany, from Berlin, back to Chile, from Chile to Punta Arenas. Punta Arenas, we did concerts, talkings, well, a beautiful experience, no? For me, first time in the Patagonia, in my own country. And luckily, we joined this photographer also, remember? And that was a very nice sharing and traveling through the beauty of the world that is this Patagonia. And nice that we can save these pictures before they transform and convert in something different with a new way of protecting himself with the environment that is going on today. This way is more safe in a way that we're saving a view that maybe will transform with the different weather changes and different ways that are going on these days.
That's right. So much of the glaciers and the mountains in Chile have been affected by climate change. And, we've been working with CODEF, the National Committee to Protect the Flora and Fauna of Chile, for so many years to declare Patagonia a World Heritage Site, which was one of the campaigns we started on the Peace Boat that you are supporting, exactly
Right.
because of these precious glaciers and the waters that are, there in this region. And a lot of people want to take advantage of those resources, especially multinational corporations. So we've been working to protect that nature and conserving it through photography, music, art, and just raising awareness through events. So this is a couple more images of here in Patagonia. What was your impression when you saw the glaciers in Patagonia for the first time?
Well, the beauty of life, the beauty of nature, the relation they have with all around them, with the wind, with the clouds, with everything around them. It's a sun, it's like a temple for me of nature that can give you a lot of messages and a lot of awareness about the relation we have with them.
Absolutely. And Pierre, you've been playing music for so many years, and not only music, but you're also into photography, you're doing videos, and you're, a conservationist and environmentalist in your own ways. So in this photo, we have you taking a photo not only in Patagonia, but we visited all the natural reserves from all the way from Patagonia up to Concepcion and then up to Valparaiso. Tell us about the nature in Chile. Why is it so unique?
Well, Chile have a lot of nature, oceans, you have deserts in the north. It's like incredible diversity of nature, in different ways, right? And well, we did a trip from South Patagonia to Santiago, and then more to the north. This show you how is the diversity that we have around the world, not only in Chile. Chile has their own characteristics, other places have their own, but it's the incredible diversity that we have to have a consciousness that we are part of.
Absolutely. And it's so important. I really was impressed. And we did a photo exhibition later with your images in Santiago, in the capital of Chile. And we also did some photos on board. So this is just a photo. When we started to join the Peace Boat voyage, it was in Valparaiso, your first time to travel on board the Peace Boat. And then we traveled from Valparaiso up to Peru. Tell us about that experience. I know for you, being on the boat must have been really exciting because it's not your first time sailing either.
Right. Of course, it's not my first time sailing. Before I sailed in a sailing boat that is very different than the peace boat, But it's not different in a way because it's really is the peace boat was for me incredible. It's the relation that you have inside of the boat with the incredible variety of activities on board, all focused on an end and in a light, in something, in something that is together with the environment, with the knowledge, with the cultures, with the diversity of each place they're visiting, and creative relation on board is like. For me, the peace boat, I saw like a boat that is more than dividing, is unifying the whole planet 3 times a year in an amazing way. This is what I can express as the experience I have inside of the boat.
Absolutely. And you shared so many of your experiences with everyone on board. Here we have a lecture that you gave in the Broadway showroom on Peace Boat, which is our largest conference room. It was called Working to Protect the Nature in Chile and Peru, using creativity as a tool for environmental awareness. And that's exactly what you do. For me, Pierre, you're one of those artists who's just an art in daily life. Whatever it is that you do, you put a little bit of art and creativity into it. And that really inspires not only, the people who see your music and your art, but also those who look to you as kind of, a leader in environment and the musical production of South American artists. So tell us a little bit, what did you talk about during your time on Peace Boat? What were some of the things that you shared?
Well, basically, in what I'm focused, actually, is not to be a leader or to be a shaman or a guru or someone who will show the way. Just live the present. It's just I'm trying to live the present, and that's what I'm going to express to the people, is to live the present, see only what you have in front of you, and without divisions, unify everything to you, and you will understand that the life energy is exactly what it is. It's what you don't see and when you don't feel. It's the no manifest is the thing that makes things possible and in reality. And nature is one of the best way of expression, that is our best friend, is our company, and that's why all what involved an ecological or natural effect is something that is involved yourself into your interior in the same way. And this relation will create the way you can share with the nature, and you will understand what it's all about, the sharing, the meeting with all the elements that are around us, that depend and not depend on us, but depend in an auto-dependency that is create your own way to save or to be in relation with the nature. Find your point where you can synchronize with nature, and this one will teach you a lot of interesting stuff. This is why I'm trying to do in my talkings, is to create a relation with nature. To create a relation with nature, you will create a relation with yourself.
It's so true. And those very, very smart words there. And good advice for everyone. I think now more than ever, especially during this global pandemic, you see people really realizing how important nature is. Taking a walk outside and being connected with nature to really help rebalance and to, just take some time out and to reflect on what's really important in life, right? So we have another photo here from you giving a talk also about your musical project with Easter Island, Rapa Nui, where you were able to travel from Peru then to Rapa Nui on the boat, and you had been there before with us and to do a music project. Tell us a little bit about the people you met there and the musical program that you were organizing.
Well, the first time we went together, we went there, with Peace Boat was the time I arrived there improvising, completely improvising, arriving there. I have 10 days to do a record. Basically, the best way to do this project was to be a voluntary person working in the old people house. It's called retirement house,
Like a
right?
Sure.
Just for the native people of the Easter Island, and there I found a temple of people amazing, all with the culture of music, all trying to express themselves in that. And basically I did the recording with them. This was a very nice experience that I will soon try to release, to put it away, out to the people can listen this beautiful experience that is record with ancient people in a way, and that was amazing. That was our first project. Then we did the second trip, and there I meet Mario Tuki and family, and really that trip, a part of everything that I learned there, opened a new door to create a new album where we joined the Easter Island people with the Toki, the house of music of the Easter Island. And I used the contraction of the house to record Mario Tuki and family using the reverbs and the effects, the natural effects. And we did a beautiful record that I also will release soon to show these projects we done together. See, we done 3, 4, 5 projects together, Emily, with Peace Boat, and all artistic creativity and very nice projects that we have on.
Absolutely. I know Mario Tuki is one of our guest speakers on the Peace Boat, and he comes on board to perform music. He has a great ability to share the culture of Rapa Nui through his music and traditional songs. So it was really exciting to hear that you were collaborating and creating music together. And I think that's also what Peace Boat provides. It's a venue for collaboration, a venue for meeting new people and exchanging cultures, like you said, getting to connect with nature. And as you know, during this time, Peace Boat is really working to make those connections happen. Even though the ship might not be sailing, we're continuing to do these online events as part of our global crowdfunding campaign. So Pierre, thank you so much for being with us today. If you have one message for everybody who's listening, people who've been on Peace Boat or those who are interested to join in the future, or even for the Peace Boat staff that you met that were traveling on board, what's a message that you can share with everyone?
Well, the message that I can give that at this moment, the only you have to concentrate and put very much attention is to the present, without division, as an observer of the present, right? And naturally, if you are in this state of the present, in the now, right now, you will figure out that these actions like Peace Boat are completely natural actions. The environment and we are where we are is the relationship we have with everything what we have around. And that is the same thing that happened for me in a Peace Boat, a relationship of cultures, a relationship with the nature, let's say, with the environment, a relationship with ourselves, how as humans, and this relationship will be, I think, and it is, if we are out of the conflict, it is a beautiful relationship where we all make part, and that one will be always running second, a second, a second, a second, building new things, and that is the only thing that I can say. It's a natural movement. It's a natural movement that is going into creation, and that's the beauty of all.
Yes, I agree. And I think that natural movement, the connections we all make, either traveling on board or in the ports that we visit, it becomes a Peace Boat family, right? And the people that you know forever. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our interview with Pierre Bucci. And we have also Dragon with us, and Paul's coming back on stage for a minute. We're going to have some closing words. Dragon, do you have one last message for everyone?
Yeah, I hope the world journey by the Peace Boat early, and I hope the change the world by art and music and good vibes of people. Yeah, thank you
so much.
And I please for the Peace Boat, and please donation.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your artwork. Thank you for donating your time and talent and all of your artwork to Peace Boat. We really appreciate it. And anyone who's listening today, again, if you donate now more than $50 donation, we'll be sending you some prints, original artwork by Dragon76. We'll be doing some live painting tonight. We're also going to be going onto the Check.We platform to be doing a live stream right after this. So please visit us on our Facebook page, donation and support Peace Boat page. Our GoFundMe will be continuing this month and into the month of September as well, so you can donate anytime. We're hoping to achieve our grand goal of really supporting Peace Boat around the world and all of our partners that we work towards education for peace and sustainability with. And for those of you who are interested in joining our live stream tonight, you can check out the Check.We website. You can visit the link and make a donation there. We're doing $5 and $10 donations to watch the live stream. And you can see the link in our upcoming slides. And then there we can also be doing a live stream with Michael Tello from PillowTalk and our colleagues Rick Rosa here in New York City. And we just look forward to having everybody come join us. It's our first time doing a live stream event after this. We'll be hoping to do more concerts in the future around Climate Week in September and so many upcoming events. So this is not the end of our crowdfunding campaign. It's just kind of the beginning of working towards supporting each other during this global pandemic and beyond to work towards a culture of peace and sustainability, whether it be online, in virtual platforms, and then hopefully again soon in person. So thank you to all of our artists, our musicians for joining us here tonight. And Dragon, we look forward to your live painting. So yeah, let's get to it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. And yeah, we'll see you again soon online.
Yes, it's
Thank you.